Yo, 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 what is up, guys? It's your boy Naps, aka me Prince, aka Otis True, aka Baby Dick Curry. And today, I got a video for you guys. It's a life story. I'm gonna be telling you guys the first time and the only time I got caught at school. So, the day starts off. My boy hit me up early in the morning, and the day previous to this, we picked up an eighth, and he rolled it into a nice joint. He was Snapchatting me all night. He's like, "Dude, I finessed it." He took two zigzag papers, like licked them, like put one glue side to like another paper side, made like this really fat cannon joint, and it was super nice, man. It was probably one of the fattest joints I've ever seen rolled. I wish I still had a picture of it. It was a pearl, man. It was perfectly rolled, like an eighth in like a regular like 1/4 paper. You know, it was crazy. It was max capacity stuffed. It was really good, honestly. I kudos to him because I don't think I could do that myself. Maybe give me like a king size raw, I could, but not on like a 1 1/4. But yeah, so he Snapchatted me all that night and everything like that, just telling me, hyping me up. He's like, "Dude, I can't wait to smoke this tomorrow. It's gonna be so sick." I was like, "All right, bro, I'll pick up in the morning. I'll scoop you right before school, burn it real quick." So I woke up that morning so stoked, super hyped. I went, showered, picked him up, got my cologne. And this is the funny thing. I left my cologne in my car, didn't use it the entire day. It'll make sense later on in the story. But so I went and I picked him up at his house, and he immediately had it tucked in his ear, right behind his right behind his ear, just like where some people put a pen, like a library puts their pen or something like that. So he comes out of the house, strolling up with a little swagger walk on him, just pimping, dude, just looking like a king of the world. Hops my whip and he's like, "Check it." Pulls it out of his ear, and it's just this fine, perfectly rolled joint. And this Jimmer was, like I said, dude, like this is the best like Jimmer. Like I've been saving this story for so long. This happened over 3 years ago on March 9th, 2016. It was not March 9th. What am I saying? February 9th. I always mark that day in my calendar because that was the day I got caught. So basically we started rolling around, just driving around right before school. This is about like maybe like 6:50, like 7 o'clock around there, because school starts around like 7:25. So we were rolling around, just driving around our usual routes, just burning this thing down. And as we were smoking it, dude, we were just like, fuck, dude, it was like literally like 10 minutes into it, and we were not even like a quarter way done. This thing was just burning so slowly, so well. I'm not complaining at all. I'm just saying, like, it was just such a well-rolled joint that it was taking us so long to really efficiently and effectively burn it down. And we were chiefing on this bad boy, too. Like, we were Wiz Khalifa, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really chiefing on her. So we got about maybe, like, halfway through, and we were, like, on the highway heading to school. And at this time, it was, like, the period was basically almost over. 7:25 is when the first class starts. So it was, like, almost 7:40, 7:50, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were 10 minutes out of school. So I was like, "Yo, dude, let's just save this for after school, bro. Like, you know, we'll just smoke the rest of this later, bro." And he's like, "Yeah, dude, no problem." And this was like a winter day, mind you. Like I said, it was like February 9th. It was like early in the winter. Not really early, but like, you know, midwinter. So it was just snow and everything like that. It was really cold. And we had the windows cracked and everything like that, but not cracked enough. And we didn't spray ourselves or anything like that. So that was our first mistake. So we basically show up to school, still reeking of pot. My boy washed his hands and everything like that. And, well, let me stop getting ahead of myself. So we get into the parking lot, and we're just sitting there for a quick second. Like, you know, he changes his jacket. I'm just sitting there like an idiot. Like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just chilling at this point. Like, I'm so stoned I didn't even care about changing or spraying cologne. Like, I had Febreze underneath my seat as well, and I didn't even spray myself with that. You know, so I was like, as you can see, like, I was really under the influence. And so we start walking into school, and when you first walk into our high school, there's usually a teacher on her off period sitting at the front desk, like not as a receptionist, but to check in all the late students and stuff like that. And this was the teacher that basically caught me answering my phone in class. I actually had a video recorded on my little GoPro that I had that I didn't upload, but I could upload this after. About the time I got caught answering my phone in class. Shout out to my friend Yates. Churn the butter. But basically, she was always sick. Not like she was like dying or anything like that, but she's always like sick during this time of the year because she's just like really like susceptible to allergies and stuff like that. So she was like sniffling and stuff like that. She couldn't really smell us. She didn't know really what was going on. So we showed up to her. I was like, "Yo, what's up, Erin? What's good?" You know what I'm saying? Like that. I called her by her first name. We were tight like that. You know, I'm not gonna say her last name or anything like that. But I saw her. We were chit chatting really quick, And then I signed in and everything, and then I started heading to the bathroom, and we just chilled. And that's when my boy started washing his hands and everything like that, spraying himself down. I feel really bad for this. So this is where we branched off, and at this point it was like 8:10 or something like that. Like there was like 5 minutes, 10 minutes left of class. So I rolled into my first period class, showed up, and I sat down, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like I can't wait. My next class after that was video production, and that was like my favorite class, dude. My favorite teacher ever, man. Like guy was a legend. Like I would show up to that class high as fuck all the time, and you know what he would say to me? He'd be like, "You guys smell that? It smells like some purple haze. It smells like a cloud of kush." You know, he was a cool dude. Like he got what I was doing. He understood me. He was a cool teacher. I really liked him for this. Like he was my favorite teacher of all time, hands down. And he's the one who inspired me to get into like video production and sound design and all this kind of stuff. So shout out to you. You know who you are if you ever listen to this or ever see this at all. But so basically I sat down in class, and I looked at this kid next to me, and he was like looked at me, and he had like these like wide look on his face. He's like, "Bro, it's bad." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Bro, it's bad. It's loud." And I was like, "Oh shit." So the bell rings, and I get up, and my teacher, and this is the teacher that I have respect for, because he's taught me a lot about life and stuff like that and financial stuff, and I've taken his lessons and applied them to my life, and I have been successful, like very successful when it comes to doing all the things that I have done. But this is what I didn't respect him for. He's like, "Austin, could you stay after class real quick? You didn't hand in the assignment that was due today." And I was like, "Oh shit, you're right," you know. So I basically finished. I had a couple more questions I had to do, so I wrote down my assignment. And at this point, I didn't realize that then it was already 5 minutes into the next class, and no one was in the room, and I was just by myself. And I finished the assignment, and I handed it into his desk. And when I went to go leave the classroom, he's like, "Austin, you gotta stop. Can you sit back down for me real quick?" And I was like, "Why?" "I just handed it in. It's on your desk." So I started walking, and then he put his hand on my chest to like, "No, you gotta stop. You gotta stay here." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And then that's when my resource officer in my school, like the school cop essentially, comes up, and he's like, "Austin, you gotta stop right here." And I was like, "Whoa." And I was like, "Oh shit." Like in my head, I was like, "Oh shit," you know? And at this point, the principal comes up, the vice principal comes up, and they escort me to the nurse's office. And at this point, I'm sitting in the nurse's office, just freaking out. And by the way, on my way to the nurse's office, I saw so many of my friends, and it was so fucked. Dude, walking in the hallways, just reeking like pot, seeing all your homies with, like, you have the resource officer and two of the principals right next to you. And I was just shooting the shit. Like, I knew I was fucked at this point. I didn't really care. And this is when I really wish I didn't. I just closed my mouth and just shut my mouth and stuff like that. I was just trying to be funny and stuff like that. So I basically get to the nurse's office, and they're always like testing me out, testing my sobriety and stuff like that. They're like, "So what's going down? Like, what so tell me about your morning this morning." And I told them the whole spiel. Like, I was like, "I just went to school. I woke up this morning, smoked a little weed, and I just came to school." And they were like, "Oh, so you're not on any other drugs or anything like that?" And they gave me this weird sobriety test where I had to like walk in a straight line and put my arms out to my sides in like a T, and then touch my nose with both of my fingertips and stuff like that. It was a really weird thingy. They thought I was on something else, I guess. But okay, just because the way I was acting and everything like that, the way I was like addressing them with confidence and stuff like that. And usually when I'm high, like, I'm not afraid of anyone. I'm not really like self-conscious. I'm more open and more susceptible to ideas, especially if I'm like freshly ripped. You know what I'm saying? Like the high is still there. You know, I'm not burnt out at this point. So I was sitting there, and they called an ambulance, and the ambulance guys came in, took my blood pressure and stuff like that. And this is the funny part. So one of the vice principals at my school was this lady, and she was beautiful. She was like a young, like 25-year-old, like so fine. Like you don't even know, dude. I wish I could shout her out, but she was so fine. So she walks by, and I saw like the medical examiners, like the ambulance guys, like look at her, and I looked at her too, because I always look at her. She's beautiful, and she has freaking booty on her, but that's not the point. But basically I was like, "Yo, man, you know, it's hard to like focus in school when you got that walking around." And they started busting out laughing, dude. It was a fun time. That's what I was saying. Like I should have just closed my mouth and shut up. And at this point, I was just sitting there, just trying to like, you know, just chill. And then this is when one of the vice principals, who didn't really like me, he came up to me and started trying to search me, and like he's like, I don't know, do you have anything on you and stuff like that? Like, I need to search your premises. Like, I was like, I don't have anything on me, bro. Like, you don't want to have to search me. And he kind of like, he didn't touch me or anything like that, but he kind of like tried to lift up my shirt and stuff. I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, get out of here. And the resource officer was like, don't worry, I can handle this. And then so he put on some gloves and I was like, dude, I have nothing on me at all. Like, and then at this point, and this is when my big mouth got me in trouble. I was like, dude, all my shit's in my car. And I was like, oh shit. And then like, oh, so we can search your car since it's on school property. And I was like, I think I need my parents for that. So they made me call my parents, and my mom just got back from a trip, actually, which was unfortunate. So she was literally driving home from the airport, like 30 minutes out from like the airport, and I had to call my mom and be like, yo, I just got caught at school with weed. And she literally screamed, like, I know you could hear it from like the other end. Like, everyone in the office, in the nurse's office, was like, they heard my mom flipping shit, man. It was awful. So she's like, what are you doing? Like, I thought you were better than this, Austin. Like, you're so stupid. Why were you getting so careless? Like, my mom's really against me smoking weed. Not really as much so because like I'm older now, but at this time she was really against it because it was affecting me and like affecting my work ethic and stuff like that. So at this point, I hung up the phone. I literally couldn't handle myself anymore. And I just sat down and I was like, dude, can you guys, like, I didn't have breakfast yet. And usually I had a bag of Cheerios with me at all times. And I would go to the cafeteria and go get a milk or something like that so I could have my breakfast early in the morning. Or for period 2 when I had my video production class, I'd eat right before that. But at this time I didn't get a chance to. So I literally, and I fucking hate this nurse. She was literally so stupid for saying this, and that really pissed me off. I was like, excuse me, can I get some like milk or something like that? Like, like, can I just go and get some milk? And they're like, no. And at this point, I realized I should have just walked out because they couldn't have stopped me. But I don't know that now. But if you're listening to this and you get caught at school, just walk out because they can't detain you. They can't touch you because you're a minor and they need your parents' permission and probable cause. But if you smell like weed, they have probable cause. So if you don't smell like weed and they're trying to catch you, just walk out, dude, and just take the intruancy and stuff like that. That's all I'm going to say. But so I was like, yo, can I get some milk real quick? Or can someone get me some milk so I can eat my Cheerios? I didn't have my breakfast yet. She's like, oh, what? Do you have the munchies or something? And I was like, no, I haven't had my breakfast yet, lady. I was like, that really pissed me off. I was like super pissed. I was like, no, I'm not fucking stone bag. I'm hungry all the time. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning and I haven't had breakfast and I want my fucking Cheerios, dude. Like, chill out. So I had to eat my fucking dry ass Cheerios in the goddamn nurse's office, and I waited till my dad came there, and then they searched my car because my dad gave him permission to, and they found the joint, and they found my boy's mason jar with all this stuff in there, and at this point they were like, "Is this yours?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's mine." And then they for some weird reason they didn't believe me, and they didn't do all this, like, they didn't believe me that I was telling the truth and stuff like that just because of how lackadaisical and how calm I was and stuff like that. So they checked the security cameras and then they saw my boy walking with me. So they put 2 and 2 together and then they basically pulled him down as well, and then he got suspended as well. So it was kind of fucked because I got my friend in trouble because I wasn't able to confess completely and take all the blame. And it makes me feel pretty bad to this day. I feel really bad because I not only got myself in trouble, I got someone else in trouble as well. And makes me feel a little fucked up, and I carry some weight on my shoulders. But it's nice to get that off my chest, because I don't really talk about this too much, especially not over the internet, So I basically got kicked out of school for I got a month-long expulsion, which is like a small, which is the minimal expulsion time they could grant you. So I was out of school for like a month. I had 2 weeks off of just like not going to school. And then I got a bunch of packets, and then they sent me to the Board of Education, where I'd basically show up to like the Board of Education, basically this huge building downtown, and I would go there from like 8 to 12 or something like that, and then get out and then go play Xbox for the rest of the day. So it was pretty legit. Yeah, and I literally, my 3rd semester, I got like all B's because like literally when you go to the Board of Ed, the teachers help you with everything. They have math tutors, English tutors, computer science tutors, like everyone, So it was pretty sweet, but it sucked because I couldn't do any video production stuff, which was like my favorite class, really. So it kind of did suck and everything like that. And then coming back, and they basically, I couldn't come in late anymore. I had to ride the bus. I couldn't bring a car into property. I couldn't go to the prom. I couldn't go to the senior outing. It was they had a ton of fucking whack ass rules they put on me my senior year, my last like 2 or 3 months of school. So it was pretty whack, having to wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning to go into the bus as a senior when all your friends are driving still. And it was a really bad experience. And I'm not promoting drug use or smoking weed or anything like that or going to school high. If you see my previous video, I'm actually sober right now, so I just thought I'd share my information, my experience, and try to help someone, because that's all I'm really trying to do with these videos is just like try to make sure that no one else follows the wrong path that I've chosen. So I just want to say, if you guys like the video, you guys know what to do. See you in the next one. Peace.